You're listening to the Longbox Crusade podcast, episode 50, featuring JSA Vol.2, number 1. This one's dated November 2024, and it's part of the JSApril 2025 podcast crossover event. Hello and welcome to the 50th episode of the Longbox Crusade. I'm your host, Jason Albrick, aka the Weasel Skull. Longbox Crusade is a podcast where each episode, a random cover month and year, is chosen, and then an issue is selected from one of the Longbox Crusade crew members' comic collection. Each episode we will summarize, review, and reminisce about the issues, ads, and events of that time. And joining me for this episode, we got the core 4 here today, and let's go around the horn and figure out 10 words or less. What is your current crusade, Jared?
Before I begin with my 10 words or less. Sorry, it's episode 50. That might need to be edited out at some point because you might have to rearrange these in order to
that's my crusade.
All right, let me not step on your crusade. Okay, well, this is episode 50.
We don't do math on Action Film Face-Off.
This is episode 50.
Okay.
Then let me say G-Unit, and that will be my bit for tonight. Anyways, my crusade is, as of this recording, tomorrow my crusade is to journey to Kentucky for a G.I. Joe show and meet Jim and George Meal in person. I don't know how many words that was.
I don't know either. I saw Delvin counting. I was kind of counting on Delvin.
I think I lost him at word 17.
Yeah. All right, we'll let it pass. We'll let it slide. Delvin, what is your current crusade?
I literally have nothing. I'm sitting there thinking, like,
hey, tell people to call into our hotline, to our voicemail, and give Delvin a crusade.
Right. Give me something to do.
What is our number?
Life is a crusade, man.
Right. I want to write it all day. Like, I actually have nothing. Like, it's just been work, jiu-jitsu, gym, same old S. So I'm good, bro.
All
Glad
right.
to be podcasting with my friends.
Well, that's good enough for me. Pat, I know you got a crusade. What is it?
Well, I do, Jason, and I'm glad you asked. This is the 50th episode of the podcast show that started it all. Episode 50. Yes. Nifty 50. Woo! Can you believe it? I'm excited.
I'm stoked too. Too.
This is a fun one.
Pat's been patiently waiting for a podcast to explode on. I got more of these.
I got
a whole bag of
No one else would know that was a 50-cent reference.
I was just guessing it was a 50-cent reference. I'm sure it's funny.
Anyway, because this is the 50th episode and that this is part of the JSApril 2025 podcast event, I am on my crusade right now. And as of we're recording this in January, I'm to get this out for April. I have 3 other episodes of Longbox Crusade to edit and get out before this one comes out. So if you're hearing this in April, I did it. Woo! Happy 50, everybody. And thank you for joining us. If this is your first time around, we appreciate you being here. And if you're just coming in and listening to us from the JSApril 2005 podcast event, we appreciate it. And we hope you stay around to listen to us talk some more.
Go, Patrick. It's your birthday.
That's right. And if you're listening to it in May or June, He didn't make it.
Or if you hear some strange number like episode 78.
48.
48. Then I didn't.
That's what happened. All right.
Jason, what is your crusade?
Well, I'm getting married in September. So that is my crusade to a real girl.
What? Met her in Canada. You guys haven't met her.
She's real. She exists. Yes, indeed. I asked her. She said, yes, getting married in September.
Oh,
so
congratulations. Ooh.
Thank you. Lots to do.
Jason's a PIMP. I have more of these.
Was that's a 50 cent?
Yeah, I got a bunch.
Okay. Well, I'm coughing. I need to go on mute. I have no idea what I'm doing here, what JSApril is, but I'm sure Pat can help us out.
That I can, Jason. I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you what's going to happen for this very special episode of JSApril 2025. We will be covering JSA Vol.2, number 1, which was dated November 2024, not so long ago. You might be asking yourself, well, what is JSApril?
Hey,
Well,
Pat. Hey, Pat.
Delvin, yes.
What is JSApril?
Well, Delvin, I am glad you asked. JSApril is a celebration of 85 years of the world's first and greatest superhero team. Back in 1948, sensational heroes united to create the world's very first superhero team, the Justice Society of America. Now, 85 years later, we're gathering podcasters and bloggers from around the globe for a month-long celebration in the event we're calling JSApril. Throughout April of 2025, you can join dozens of podcasters and bloggers as they each share their own unique tributes to the original and greatest superheroes team. Every participant in the JSApril is doing their own thing, like we are. So thank you for listening. So whether you choose to enjoy just one entry or experience them all, there's something special for everyone. Get ready for an all-star month of beloved characters, fascinating insights, and incredible stories. Some funniness from us. Follow the action on social media with the hashtag JSApril. Can I get a hashtag JSApril? No? Okay.
Hashtag JSApril. Come on, Delvin. Give me a hashtag JSApril. Bring this energy up.
Hashtag JSApril. Jared, you got to do it now.
I don't care what you heard about me. You can't get a hashtag out of me.
Come on. We're many men.
50 cents will do it.
Jason's in. Jason's in.
We're going to get rich or die trying.
Yes. Hashtag JSApril. Woo.
All right. And you can also visit the website for a complete listing of participating podcasters, blogcasters, and what all of us will be covering. And that you can find at the fireandwaterpodcast.com/JSApril. Just go to that website and you'll get the list of everybody participating.
Fire and Water, I know those guys. I hang up their Christmas lights for them every year.
You did, yeah. And so that's why they invited us to help them out with JSApril this year, because of the great Christmas decorations that you did, Jared, and helping them with the lights. But, I think they felt bad because no one was helping me at the studio here.
We should move on.
You know, it's 50 episodes we've been doing out of this, and there's nobody been helping me.
Perhaps, Pat, you could bribe people by taking them to the candy shop.
Yes.
Oh, another 50 cents. All I got is these 2 quarters.
I was going to say I'd help you, but I'm busy popping them things.
Jason's looking up songs now.
It's Google.
It's okay.
No way. Google.
I'm okay with him leaning into that. I admire that.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Pat. And we invite you all to be a part of the show by submitting your comments and memories, which will be featured on a future show. Reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube, all at Longbox Crusade. And you can always leave a voicemail at 707-532-5269. That's 707-532-LBOX.
Sanford and Son?
That's in the club.
That's in the I got you, Pat.
I did too. I was goofing.
All right.
Go.
Well, we
Dummy.
hope you
It's
come
your
along.
birthday.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We're waiting for the shenanigans.
It was a mashup. See, I said go dummy. Like Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
I go back on me.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We hope you come along with us on this crusade to read them all. Now, before we get started with this episode issues review, let's take a quick podcast promo break. We'll be right back.
Back in 1940, 8 sensational heroes united to create the world's very first superhero team, the Justice Society of America. Now, 85 years later, we're gathering podcasters and bloggers from around the globe for a month-long celebration in an event we're calling JSApril. Throughout April 2025, join dozens of content creators as they each share their own unique tributes to the original and greatest superhero team, including all-star podcasters and bloggers like
Justice Society presents
The Longbox Crusade podcast.
Campus Comics Cast.
Supergirl Comic Box Commentary.
The Quarter Bin Podcast.
The Bat Pod.
The Earth 2 Podcast. FW Team Up.
Diana Prince is the new Wonder Woman.
Fanholes Podcast.
Back to the Bins.
Coffee and Comics.
The Huntress Podcast.
*51.blogspot.com.
Justice Society Origins, a part of John Reed's Comics.
DC Special Cast.
Between the Pages blog.
The Outcasters, a Batman and the Outsiders podcast.
A World on Fire and All-Star Squadron podcast.
JLA Stories and Friends.
The Monitor Tapes.
A Crisis on Infinite Earths podcast.
Lords of Order, a DC's Dr. Fate fan podcast.
David M. Gallagher at Medium.com.
JSA in the 90s.
Justice League Legacies.
DC Secret Files podcast.
Mike's Geek World.
Pop Culture Affidavit.
The Source Material Comics podcast.
That Giffen Show.
Worst collection ever.
The Fantastic Four.
It all comes back to Superman.
And that's just some of the podcasters and bloggers who'll be joining in the celebration. Get ready for a thrilling month of beloved characters, fascinating insights, and incredible stories. Follow the action on social media with the hashtag JSApril, and visit our website for a complete list of participating podcasters, bloggers, and what they're each covering at fireandwaterpodcast.com/JSApril.
Welcome back from the break. Today's adventure from the Longbox is JSA Vol.2, number 1, dated November 2024. It's still fresh, man, and you can still keep it in your fridge. The credits for this issue are provided by Mike's Amazing World. Comic title was JSA Vol.2, number 1. Publisher was DC. On sale date was November 6th, 2024. Cover price was $3.99. Editors were Andrew Marino, Marquis Draper, and Katie Kubert. Writer was Jeff Lemire. Penciler, Diego Olortegui. Inker, Diego Olortegui. Letter was Steve Wands, and the colorist was Luis Guerrero. Was reprinted in nothing because it's brand new. Cover credits go to Diego Olortegui, and the inker again was Diego Olortegui. He was putting in some hours on this book, I think.
He definitely was.
All right, and I'm going to pass it over to Jared so he can tell us a little bit about the cover.
All right, I'm not super familiar with the JSA, and that might show up in my cover description. So let's go. The classic DC Bullet logo makes a welcome return in its blue and white glory with the words all in under it. The JSA title font is white with orange highlights, and it lays atop a golden eagle emblem. The main action is something of a classic poster-ish shot of the whole team. In the center, Dr. Fate casts a spell with his hand in the foreground, and surrounding him are Wildcat, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Jay Garrick Flash, Lady Rocket Racer, Mystical Blue Beetle, the Atomic She-Hulk, and Hourman. Okay, I recognize Jade, but I wanted to use
yeah, I mean, it's right there. I mean, it's right there looking at you.
Yeah, I had a bit for it, but I honestly didn't know who the other two characters were.
The Blue Beetle one is Obsidian, and the
Lady Rocket Racer.
Lady Rocket Racer, I I believe that's Dr. Midnight.
The new Dr. Midnight. I figured that out. I wrote this before I read the book, so I got it all now.
Well, thank you, Jared. So let's talk about the cover a little bit. Let's start with Pat. Pat, what do you think?
Well, I think it's an interesting cover. It's, it's that first issue, got to grab you with all these heroes, and they're doing their action-y poses of a hero team. I like the JSA logo. I think it's kind of a really cool logo. Kind of takes me back to the Jeff Johns logo.
Yeah.
When they were on, and we can talk a little bit more about that when we get into this a little bit more. But like Jared, there was a few people that I didn't know. What's his name?
Obsidian.
Okay, I was calling it Abstain or something like that. So I was totally off. But you guys know me. I can't pronounce names.
Oreo.
I'd like Alan Scott, and I think he looks cool with the beard. They should have done that a long time ago with him, just to keep that separated. That looks cool.
Distinguished.
Yeah. I think he's cool looking like that. But I like the colors. Really kind of peppy, eye-catching.
Yep. I think peppy and eye-catching are good words to describe it. What do you think, Delvin?
I like the logo. The logo is very stately, JSA in that powerful font with the eagle behind it. And then they have the old school JSA logo behind it, like reinforcing it. And so there was no need for like a big background. You could just do the team pose in front of it. That just makes it look even more powerful. And they're doing a good job of blending the old JSA with the new JSA. Ironically, that's probably going to be one of the things that I'm complaining the most about when it comes to the book. But
I have a feeling you won't be alone in this, Delvin.
But we are on the cover now, and it is absolutely a first issue cover. You get what I'm saying? They're introducing this, rolling out the all-in thing that's going on because DC and they can't go a year and a half without a dang rollout for some reason. But it's definitely a good rollout cover. And Olategui, I believe he should stand up and take a bow because that's a fantastic job. I especially like Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate looks very powerful, with the helmet and just that hand out, casting some spell or something. That looks really cool.
I'm glad you mentioned it. That was a standout for me. I love Dr. Fate, man. I always loved him. I always thought he looked super cool. I like his powers. I like his little castle fortress mystic tower thing that he's got. Just really cool character. And this one, it kind of looked to me like it's the old characters in the back. Dr. Fate pushing these new characters
That'll be all.
But at any rate, let's hear what Jared has to say. Bring us home, Jared. What do you think of the cover?
Well, I made a bit out of it, but I've very tangentially brushed with the Justice Society. I read some of the 70s books, like Zany Haney era stuff, where they would blend with the JLA, and I always thought they were okay. They didn't really grab me, and then they sort of had a resurgence in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I never dabbled in that either. So I got kind of a fresh take, and fresh take is the word for this cover. Delvin kind of said it. It definitely says, hey, this is a number one. Here's all the players, and I knew most of them, so that's good. Yeah, and Pat's right. The coloring's kind of neat. It's digitally colored, but it has the sort of that warm tone of colored pencils instead of a heavier marker look to it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Pastel-y kind of.
Yeah. And it's done well. I love the hand. It's kind of gives a cool perspective. I like that Dr. Fate's the center of it because he's cool. Although I think we found out inside, I don't think he's the Dr. Fate that I knew. I think it's a new guy.
Yeah, new guy.
But hey, they didn't mess with the costume. It looks fantastic. Always looks good. And yeah, the stately JSA logo is simple. This is a team that comes from the 40s, so I think they'll try to be evocative of that Art Deco look to it, and I think they nailed it. So yeah, awesome cover.
All right, so we all like the cover. We all think Diego, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Olategui, did a great job. Let's just
wrap the show here.
I hesitate to take the next step, but let me give you a quick synopsis, then we'll talk about the book a little. So the title of the book was Ragnarok, and the JSA are back, baby. And this isn't exactly the smoothest of relaunches, however. Jade is the JSA's newest chairwoman, and she's trying to lead the story team in the best tradition of their forebears. The trouble is, with an unknown threat menacing them and taking out Dr. Fate, Jay Garrick, Green Lantern, Hawkman, and Hawkgirl, the old ways of fair play, leading by example, and adhering to high moralistic ideals no longer seem to apply. Hence, a group of younger and more volatile JSAers are breaking off to expedite their own investigations and deal out a more 21st century brand of justice. Can Jade hold the team together? And if so, will she have to sacrifice the team's values to do it? And what of the aforementioned absent members? Well, it turns out they're trapped in Dr. Fate's tower, searching for an exit, while desperately trying to hold at bay a horde of devouring monsters. All is pretty grim for our team by the end of issue 1, and it's made even more so by the revelation on the last page of the villains causing the mayhem. So, let's get this over with, Jared. What'd you think of the story?
It's, you know, the Muppets, so there's like Statler and Waldorf.
Yes.
I kind of felt like them throughout, like, let's just do a whole bunch of analogies. Jason, remember when The Force Awakens came out? And we were at the cusp of a new.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I want you to go back to when that came out, and like we watched it, and we were like, okay, let's see where they're going with it. You know?
Yeah, fair.
But every time they were like, hey, here's some cool scenes with the new characters, and guys like you and me are like, I don't care. What's Han doing? What's Chewie doing? Okay, so now we know Jared's
dying. Jared, the answer to all of it was dying.
Yeah. Okay, don't let me wind you up on Star Wars. But the point is, I'm an old man, and from the things that I do know from this book is the things I looked forward to the most, and ended up being the things I enjoyed the most, which was the old classic characters. The book didn't help itself by like sort of every moment we had with the new characters was like relationship squabbly stuff. And it was a lot of relationship squabbly stuff. And then once we transitioned to like the last few pages with the old league, now I was interested again.
Right. I felt the same. Yeah.
And it had a cool cliffhanger with the little reveal of the guy who's infested the team, you know, the secret agent for the bad guys. And I was like, I don't know who that guy is, but all right, sure, you know.
Shame on him.
I guess, you know. What I'm saying is the bulk of the front, I was irritated. But, you know, the listening audience, you already heard me give my Star Wars example. I'm an old man. I watch Airwolf episodes, for God's sake. So the first block with the new people didn't grab me a whole lot. Well, it was kind of a shame because I like Jade. I've always thought she was kind of cool. I knew who she was on the cover. And I liked her leadership style. She's trying to hold on to the old ways, you know, like me. But then it rolled into the old leaguers sort of trapped in the tower, and I got kind of more interested. And then it had a cool cliffhanger. So it started real slow for me, picked up a little at the end. There's all the positivity I got for you.
I think we were looking through it through a very similar lens, Jared. But Delvin, what did you think? Have you been a traditional JSA follower? Is this kind of new territory for you? And, you know, what are your opinions?
I know a little bit about JSA. I don't think I have ever actively collected JSA, but I'm familiar with the DC universe. So none of the old JSA characters were unfamiliar to me. And so I knew a couple of the new JSA characters that they're putting upon us, particularly Jesse Quick, because I collected the Flash for quite a few years. My sentiments are a lot like Jared's in that with I will always caveat, right, that like I will never draw an issue of a comic book as good as any artist who ever gets to Marvel, DC, or Image, or any print book. And the same thing with writing. I have never tried my hand at writing either. So I want to add those caveats. I also want to add the caveat of I've been collecting and reading comic books now for almost 40 years. Yikes. But so I say that to say the story felt so formulaic. Like, I understand it was an issue 1. I do. And so it's like, let's introduce the characters. I got it. But it's the JSA. I mean, do you really need to introduce the JSA? No, not the old characters. Like, everybody had been, okay, they want to get new readers. I got it. That's the reason why they're doing the launch, the all in and everything like that. But anyone with DC Comics history knows like Wildcat and Dr. Fate and all the other guys. And yeah, the new guys, they weren't introduced in necessarily the best light because they're right. It's like they were just bickering. And so it just made me think a lot about like real world stuff today. And then trust me, I'm not going to drag us down too much into any of that. But what I will say is like, there's always that age old debate of young versus old, right? And like you start getting a little bit older, you look at the younger generation a little bit, and you're like, man.
I'm there. Yeah, I'm there now.
You don't do ways. You don't do things the way we did it the old ways. Say, and so like there is that part of it. But I hate that like they just portrayed the young guys as so just whiny and argumentative, like
unlikable.
They didn't, and I'm speaking for like me and knowing a decent amount of the younger generation. The younger generation's pretty cool cats. I appreciate their energy and their thoughts on the things, and I hope that eventually translates in this book, because for me it didn't quite do it for issue 1, the one issue that we had to read.
I agree, and I suspect, and I'm going to say keep my powder dry here for Pat, because I think Pat's going to cover a lot of the ground. I'll tee this up though and just say I think Jeff Johns did a really good job of blending newer JSAers with the legacy characters.
Jeff Lemire?
No, Jeff Johns.
No, Jeff Johns.
Oh, you're talking about the old JSA.
Yeah, Volume 1.
Yep.
Yeah, and Jeff Johns just finished wrapping Volume 1 of JSA. Like he came back recently and finished a run on it. And Jeff Lemire, who I think is a tremendous writer, I agree with you. I just didn't like the feel. Like Jeff seemed to have a way of taking the youthful energy and the old gravitas of the original characters and blending it together so well. But I'm going to shut up and pass it to Pat because I think I've teed him up enough. And
real quick, Jeff Johns is a tough act to follow. Like that man can universe build. Like he basically took the Flash. The Flash at the time was boring. And all of a sudden, like he builds up that rogues gallery again. And by the time he left it, it was incredible. Like someone has to follow guys like that. But so that's tough for Mr. Lemire. Go ahead.
It is. Pat, take it away.
Yeah, we're talking about Jeff Johns and his initial run of the JSA back then when he was, just building up and getting to this point. And I've always heard good things. I haven't read the run, but it's something I do have. And, as a reading project that I want to do is kind of go through Jeff Johns, how would you say, his career or his, what he's written or made.
The bibliography.
Yeah. And I think it'd be kind of cool to see, as you guys can tell, is just see watching him grow and what he's becoming. The Flash. I've read some of the Flash already, and I have the 3 omnibuses of Jeff Johns' work on that Flash because it's just so wonderful and his story building and, like Delvin said, how he turned that around. But I didn't know a lot about the whole Justice Society of America besides a little bit of what I've heard. Some of the older kind of zany stuff, crazy stuff, this newer stuff with TV, with the Flash, with the Stargirl. I watched that.
Oh yeah.
So there was stuff. There was some JSA in that as well too. So I've learned some stuff, and I think it was kind of helpful. There's still some people I didn't know, like that. That Obstain guy or whatever is.
Obsidian, but
I don't whatever. The Ob guy.
Odd job.
Yeah. But he's got a cool power. He's got a cool power. I'm like, oh wow, that's a really freaky power that he's got, that he can go and do the things that he's doing, make it dark and make people think things and do things and make it
reminds me of Cloak from Cloak and Dagger.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Where you can just turn things, kind of dark around you and just, kind of scary. It's really scary. And obviously with this person, it really wasn't the same guy, I guess. I don't know. It was somebody else portraying to be him. And I'm like, oh, no wonder why this guy was kind of going off kilter. But like Jarrett, I liked the beginning when they were building up the story of the JSA. You saw all the great characters. It was really cool. Then it got to the nowadays part, or today story, and man, maybe I'm just an old man.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is that the stuff that younger readers want to read? Like, are they into that whole?
Yeah, man, you got to have some sort of relationship going on. I think that's what helps build a good team characters. You do have to have some of those, work site, office, job, family life kind of stuff that goes on. But this was just like, man, I don't want to even be in that family if that's going to be.
I know. I wanted to be in that watchtower surrounded by the horde of that with the cool guys.
With the cool guys, yeah.
3 cool guys.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just like, yeah. It was like, you like him. And I was like, okay, I get it. There's obviously some stuff going on. I guess it is what it's going to be. Yeah, I really like the older stuff. I like the older guys. I liked when they were in danger. And then the twist at the end, I was like, oh, that was kind of a cool twist to see that there's some evil guys, some evil chumps.
Strings.
Yeah, pulling the strings, and they just getting started. And it's like, ooh. So I'm kind of interested, but I just don't want the angsty stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
I wonder too, because it's obvious that there was some issue or something that set up the story for issue 1.
Probably like issue 0 or something.
Right. So I wonder if any of us would feel a little bit differently if we'd read that setup before we got into this issue. Who's to tell?
Yeah, that's true.
I also want to mention that Jeff Johns completely revitalized Green Lantern too.
And Hawkman.
Hawkman. Yeah, there's
just write his behind off.
His bibliography is
well done, Pat.
It's not absent with stuff,
It's replete with titles that he has worked on.
I guess
he has a plethora of issues.
You can't abstain anything against him.
Okay, we're going to put a wrap on this right now. And anybody else have anything to say about the story before we roll in and talk about the art a little bit?
The Gentleman Ghost is awesome.
Gentleman Ghost is awesome.
He shows up in the last panel, and I was like, hey, Gentleman Ghost.
We know who he is.
Made me happy. And that's all.
Well, let's talk about the art a little bit. Jared, let's pass it off to you as the residential artist. What did you think? I think that things are gonna pick up a little bit here.
Definitely. Yeah, this artist guy who you've done a great job pronouncing his name, so I won't even dabble in it, but
I'm doing it again. I ain't going back.
He did a fantastic job. I really like his energy. I like his layouts. He's not afraid to be bold with stuff. He knows when to pull back with stuff. He knows when to go with the heavy. He inked himself, so the heavy inks. He knows when to lighten them. The colorist really enhance things. He's got really nice layouts. Really like the panel where the sound effect is the panel where the one Cobra agent shot the other one. And they use Blam as the panel. It's not the first time it's ever happened in comics, but it caught my eye. I was like, hey, very well done.
Pretty creative, yeah.
And old dude had to draw like 62 different characters in one book, plus tech. Yeah, he absolutely has my respect. It's wonderfully done. So I'll leave the rest for somebody else. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'll say at the beginning when I looked at those opening pages when they're retelling the story of the JSA and showing those battles, you got me hooked when I just sit and stare and I want to see like, oh, this person's kicking that person and this person's shooting a blaster over here. That's fun. Delvin, what did you think?
Man, there's something about we have all complained about like the price of comic books nowadays, right? Oh my God, comic books are too high. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. That's not what I'm bringing it up for. But what I am bringing up for is, man, I don't know what DC and Marvel are doing nowadays, but they are finding these new artists or these like not household names. And these mofos are coming to these comic books and they are drawing like Eminem Lose Yourself playing in the background or something.
I know that one. I know that one.
They are just going for it. Like, I completely unrelated. I just caught up with Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and the artist there, Federico something, I'm gonna blank on his name. Freaking fantastic. Like, I'm just looking like that, plus what they're able to do with colors now, plus the gloss of the page, like the artwork is popping. So at a minimum, it's like they're telling you, like, yeah, look, I know you ain't crazy about paying $4 for this comic book, but it's pretty, ain't it? And the answer is yeah. Yes.
If you find yourself just staring at a page for a little bit longer, a couple more minutes or whatever, and you're just staring at that page going, man, this is so awesome to look at.
Yeah.
That's something there.
Yeah. And I found myself doing that, like when I was catching up my run of Spider-Man, and you could easily do that with here. Like, I mean, the reveal, like the, Injustice Society page at the end, and heck, even the reveal, the bad guy, Johnny Sorrow. I don't know who that is, but that look is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a cool look.
With the mask, like that looked like the Guy Fawkes mask almost.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just very, like, so the artwork is very good in this book. You can tell, it's like, I don't know if this guy is like new to the DC universe or not, but it feels like he's drawing like he had something to prove, and he accomplished. Did a great job.
I couldn't agree more. Pat, what did you think?
I think Jared and Delvin had said a lot. All I can say is go, Diego, go. He's got it down. And
Pat and I have had kids.
Yeah, he is doing a great job here. The layouts, the colorists too, just making things pop, and the lighting and shading that goes on in it. It was something to look at, definitely. It helped me get through those harder parts. There was still good art in it.
Yeah, it was good eye candy. I will say that. All right, Jared, this is where I'm going to pass it over to you, and you take the reins.
All right, guys, it's time to pick our favorite page of art from inside this book. We have lauded Diego and his wonderful artistic style. Lots of cool pages to pick from. So if he offered one to you for free, which one would you take? We start with Jason.
Man, there's a lot to pick in this one. I mean, I could go with several, but I keep coming back to, and I'm sorry they're not page numbered here, but it's near the back of the book. It's 2 panels with a large panel of Hawkman and Hawkgirl fighting this horde of whatever they are that's assaulting Dr. Fate's tower. And Hawkman is just going to work on these thugs with his mace. Hawkgirl is just spraying brass there with her crossbow. That's really cool. I would hang that up on my wall.
It is most excellent. Delvin.
The one I'm looking at that struck out to me the most was the one with Obsidian in it. But now, of course, then I flipped to one that's that has is Jay Garrick Flash, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like they've got him like running. That's a good page too. Like he's running up the stairs, and then one where he's like upside down running. Like that one's cool too. But I'm only supposed to pick one. I won't be greedy, so I'll pick the hero I know. I do know Jay Garrick Flash a little bit, so I'll go with that page because I think that's very cool.
That is cool. I was looking at that one too.
Yeah, lots to choose from. We've gone through 2, and no one's picked mine yet. So let's see if Pat's going to leave it for me or not.
I'm going to see if I can guess which one yours is.
I think I'm going to leave it for you because I'm assuming it's probably one of the beginning pages, possibly. I'm going to go just a few pages before the one Delvin mentioned, and it's got just 3 simple columns, I should say, and it says Mystery Men, and it's got Hawkman in the middle, just kind of starting ready to kind of do some action. You got the Dr. Fate's tower there, and a little bit of face of Hawkwoman, but I just think the orange and the red and that just pops out to me. And Hawkman's a cool character. I think he's always been a character that is, always caught my eye just because he's got wings and then he's got that cool looking helmet
and that big old mace.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
He's Conan with wings.
Yeah, Jared, what one did you choose?
That big old mace, man. The more money it comes across, the more problems it sees.
I'm going to guess which one. Can I guess which one you chose?
Yeah.
All right. I had it down between the traditional JSAers sitting around the table, but then I was like, nah, it's too many young folks in that one. I think the one you took was that quirky one with Dr. Fate sitting right there.
I like it, but I actually went with page 1.
Page 1. All right.
And I can't believe Jason didn't pick it. I thought for sure you would because it's the OG team with bombers flying over.
Yeah,
tank treads in the left frame, freaking German soldiers, like tank barrels, like, oh man, like
it's got Sandman in there.
Yeah, like, and what happened to him? Because like, well, the last page is in the Injustice League, or at least some version of him. Maybe there's an evil version of him. I don't know, but
there's a new guy.
He's sitting at the table with there's a Sandman version sitting anyways, that page 1, with all I'm a sucker for when you add like the bombers and the fighters and all that stuff, my favorite drawings that I can think of from in-book a G.I. Joe are like Snake Eyes jumping out of the back of a C-130. You got the C-130 in the background, and they do that with Captain America sometimes too.
Yeah,
and he's like falling in the sky. You got C-130. Like, I don't know. Adding planes makes me happy. So
it does. I'm kind of rethinking my choice now. But
I mean, honestly, if they stripped the word boxes off of it and just released that as like a poster. I'm not even a JSA guy, but I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll find a spot on the wall. All right. Well, we've all chosen. And now we're going to take a little walk down memory lane and see if this brings back any memories for folks.
I don't even think we have to get into the time machine.
Let's get into here we are. It's November. It's last November. Oh, Jared. Any memories from you? What were you doing a couple months back?
I turned 48 in November, and
that's true. You did.
There was Thanksgiving.
Yep, Thanksgiving happened. That was a thing.
Yes. Yep.
Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Veterans Day. Yeah. Thank you all for your service.
That was an honor to serve.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
No, the best memory I have of November really is, and this could count as a crusade maybe on a further episode, but I've been losing weight and I had some of my better breakthroughs and in November. So yeah, I'm down like 25 pounds now since I seen y'all at Heroes Con. So there's nothing specific, but like, yeah, that's what I think about. I think, yeah, I was doing good because it's tough to do good once you hit that November, December. But
brutal.
But anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Pat, what about you? What kind of memories?
Well, I remember Jared's birthday.
Oh,
yep.
Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, I remember that. That happened in November. Actually, I'm just going back in my photos on my phone and looking to see what was actually happening in then. And the moment thing that stands out is me and my family and some friends with my wife. We got to go to see Matthew West. He is a Christian artist, but he was in town. He was like blocks away playing at a place in my town. He was here. And
much like Night Ranger.
Yes, much like Night Ranger was here as well too. It's like, I couldn't believe it, but he's here and it's somebody that I like. We've seen him plenty of times. We've gone further away to go see him. My wife really likes his music just because with the cancer she was going through, when every time we would go to get her treatment, she would have me play his song of Just Keep Praying. And so we would listen to that on the way to getting the cancer treatments. We got the VIP tickets so she could spend some time. Everybody stood back and just let her have moments with him. And, he talked to her, he prayed for her. Just an amazing moment to see her light up after all she's gone through. And, just to tell, somebody what it meant to her, and how he helped her get through the trial that she was going through. So really cool moment. And
nice.
Yeah. Something I'm going to remember.
Incredible. Yeah.
All
of that, Delvin.
Yeah, Delvin, much like the person they had to follow Martin Luther King.
Sorry about that, Delvin.
Hey, Pat, that Matthew West, he's that guy that sings Forgiveness, right? Because
yes, he does.
That song is so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Delvin. Well, I feel like an idiot now. You can go first.
Right. Yeah. And, don't worry, since I don't have anything too great. I went like Thanksgiving month. I was flipping through some pictures too. Pretty uneventful month for me for the most part. I did get to San Antonio and see one of my old Air Force buddies. And that was always good. Like busy guy, his name's Tony. Busy guy, because he has two young kids, and just not a lot of time to see him. And so he had me like wake up like super early to drive all the way across town, because in San Antonio you can't go anywhere without driving 30 minutes. And so I met him early. I'm talking about like 7:00 in the morning, like for when he worked out. And so we did a workout together, and it was cool just to get to see a friend who, like, as time has gone by, knew him when I was a second lieutenant, which is
that was a minute ago.
That was a minute and a half ago, right? And so I before we left, because I'm usually terrible about it, I made sure to just take a picture of him, and it was just good to see my friend again. And to take a picture with him and to see that we both turned out, for the most part, okay. In my opinion, he's doing far better than I am, but I could not be happier for him and his success. And that's what you should be with your friends.
Well, that's awesome. I think sounds to me like you're both doing pretty all right. Let's see. For me, it was November, so I was cleaning Crusade episodes like an MFer, man. I let that ass pile up.
Yes. Well, you finished in November, though.
I did.
Yeah, you got done real.
He did.
I did. Yep. That was my goal. I was like, I'm not gonna take it into December this time. But yeah, no, I think probably the most, one of the most memorable things about November was having Thanksgiving dinner with Carrie and Drake and Carrie's daughter Olivia, and Ethan came and had dinner with us as well. So my nephew Ethan, Jared, my nephew Ethan. And so it was just great to catch up and, have some of the young folks in there and us old folks eating together. And yeah, it was fun.
For some reason, since we're talking family, you mentioned family stuff, like we were definitely getting at that age, right? Like I remember when I was a kid, like we would always not like seriously tease, but like my grandmother, my mom's mom, we'd go down there and we'd like have family stuff, and like she'd always cry, like tears of happiness. It was like, what's going on with grandma? And it's like I just thought about that because you said what you said. I get that now.
Yep. I understand. I understand your grandma perfectly. I didn't either at your age, though. What are you crying about? We have our whole lives ahead of us.
Some of the best times are the simplest times, right? Where nothing's going on at all. And you just everybody hanging around and just chit-chatting.
Most of the best times are the simplest times. The ones that matter anyway. Oh, this has become nostalgia talk. Nostalgia talk with Jared. All right.
Although the best thing that happened was Jared's birthday month. So
it was Jared's birthday. All right. And
Melinda's beating cancer, but it was my birthday.
Yeah. Melinda's beating cancer was a close second. We'll say.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of this part of the show. Got a comment or question? Send us an email at contact@longboxcrusade.com or make a comment on Longbox Crusade, X, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. We will be right back.
All right, our bags are packed and we got the snacks. It's time for the Longbox Crusade road trip to the Longbox Mobile crew.
Shotgun.
Dang it.
Everyone buckled up. Here we go.
Well, now that the garage is empty, Gene will have more space to record episodes of LBC Irregulars, the indexing of the Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes TV series.
Oh no! Did anyone remember to leave Clinton some food down in the basement? He's going to need it as he makes more episodes of Fan Film Fridays, his ongoing look at online fan films.
Why are you speaking in such a scripted manner, Dark Web? Anyway, you can relax. I asked Rick, or was it Jeff? Who can remember? I asked the attic guy to come down from time to time to check in on Clinton. Take some breaks from recording Monday Movie Muckabout, his movie review show.
Weasel Skull, did you give Rick the key to the basement?
Key.
Sounds like LBC headquarters is in good hands, Death Probe.
Right you are, Cristados. Oh, Pat, can we stop off at KB Toy Store? I want to pick up some Transformers and G.I. Joes. They remind me of Transformers Chronicles and G.I. Joe Chronicles. Our show's going through the Marvel run of Transformers comics and the Devil's Due run of Joe comics.
Well, while you guys are doing that, we can also stop by a Blockbuster video and get some tapes to watch for Action Film Face-Off. That's the show where we discuss 2 action films and have them duke it out to see which one is the episode champion.
Is that VHS or beta?
Either one's fine.
We've got a lot of stops to make, but if we can, let's squeeze in the Walden books and score some comics for us to talk about on Crusader Chronicles, the show where we move chronologically through the Amazing Spider-Man comics and include a bonus issue from the same release date as the Spidey we're covering.
I will definitely keep an eye out for our Walden books. It'll come in handy for the pure Longbox Crusade episodes, our time capsule show where we take a deep dive into a randomly selected comic and talk about news, music, and movies and ads that were popular when the books were released. I'll also be on the lookout for our electronic boutique, EB, if you guys don't know the lingo back then, so we can get some more comic-related video games for us to discuss on Comics to Council Crusade.
Good thinking. If time permits, let's hit Circuit City. I need more positrons for our Pop Culture Posicast show, the one where we find all the good stuff in pop culture that others seem to poo-poo.
Positrons?
Shut up and go with it.
These old-timey, out-of-business store jokes doing anything for you folks? Well, if you like old-timey stuff, we also offer Saturday Matinee Theater, our look back at old TV shows, serials, and films that have kind of been forgotten.
I think that about covers it. We definitely want to be your road trip crew, folks.
Whether it's your commute to work or a road trip of your own, why not pass the time with us, your friends at the Longbox Crusade?
Once again, that's Longbox Crusade, available on all your finer podcatchers.
Good job, team. I'm getting hungry. Pat, stop at the next Kenny Rogers Roasters that you see.
Or Bennigan's.
Burger Chef! Now it's time to scan through the featured issue of JSA Vol.2, number 1 from November 2024, for the top ads that stood out to us in a segment called Add It Up.
Add it up. Add it up.
And yeah, folks, not a lot to choose from in this issue. Jared, what'd you choose? And why is it not the Batman ad?
A lot of house ads in here. Oh, man. I ended up choosing the Spider-Man versus the Soggy's Captain Crunch ad. From 1983.
Okay, cut it out of a magazine.
I just slipped it in. No,
missing some ads.
Yeah, it's like a lot of house ads, but they did have an ad for some Batman toys. Well, back cover, I think.
Yes, looking at it right here. I know this is an audio medium, but
I saw your eyes light up. Is that the ad you're picking too?
Oh, well, heck yeah. Anybody not picking this ad, Pat?
I like the Soggy ad, but I'm going to have to go with,
the Chips Ahoy that has a maze in it. Jeff.
Oh, I like that Chips Ahoy with a maze in it. One of these days, I'm going to solve that puzzle.
It reminds me of that Spider-Man ad with the cookies and this. Oh,
with Man Mountain Marco?
Man Mountain Marco. Yeah, that was a good
one. All right, Delvin. You picking a different ad other than this kick butt bat plane with the Batman and Robin figures?
I mean, I could talk about Batgirl. They're previewing some new Batgirl, and I don't know which Batgirl it is because there's 2 of them, right? There's Cassandra Cain and Barbara Gordon. Maybe
this one, the ad does say Cassandra Cain stars in her own solo series, so it is Cassandra.
All right, I like Cassandra Cain. I like
who's Cassandra Cain's mom?
Mrs.
Cain.
Yeah.
Cain.
Maybe we need to find some freaking young people for this show.
Remind me who her dad is. I can see him, but I can't think of his name. Is he just Kane?
Yes. He was the dude who was like the ultimate bad guy in the Bruce Wayne murderer storyline. Yeah. And I can't remember his name. Dude,
and he raised her tough. And then it backfired on him.
Oh, it backfired in a big way.
Yeah, her solo series. Was that Chuck Dix? You can edit this out if you want, but her solo series back in like late 90s, early 2000s was banging. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Chuck. He was running the whole Bat universe, but it was good.
Yeah, he did a good job with that Bat universe. Little side comment there. But at any rate, do any of you have a favorite ad or comment on this? Let us know. Email contact@longboxcrusade.com or comment on the Longbox Crusade Facebook, X, or Instagram page. Now, let's continue on with the next segment called Way Back in Time. Not so way back.
Once again, it is time to take another revealing peek back into history.
What famous date shall I set it to today, Mr. Peabody?
November 2024.
Got it.
And yeah, I know what folks are thinking. Why did I pick such a recent issue? Because I'm tired of being the only one from the 90s and early 2000s that don't know the music, that's too old to know the references. I want them to feel the pain. I want them to know what it feels like to look at these songs and not know what it is. So we're only going back to November 2024. So major news, I think I still have the paper lying around here somewhere.
It was my birthday. That's my major news event.
All right. I'll just go around the horn. Jared, go ahead and pick one.
All right. On November 13th, like 20 years later, they decided to do a sequel to Gladiator. Gladiator 2 came out. Ridley Scott came back to direct. It had Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, and my main man, Denzel Washington. And on November 13th, it had its royal premiere at the King Charles III in London. I can only assume that Alan J. Porter was there and he can tell us how it all went down.
With gravitas and a British accent.
It was a good movie.
Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
I haven't seen it. And I know Jared hasn't.
Denzel is a draw. Like, I'll see just about anything with him in it. So I think it will happen. But I wasn't a big fan of the first Gladiator. So I'm like, I'm not rushing out to some 20 years later sequel. But then I found out it had Denzel in it. So yeah, it'll happen.
I liked the first Gladiator. I just didn't feel like I needed a sequel.
I didn't either.
I don't think I saw Gladiator. The reason that I saw Gladiator 2 is because like it was a family thing, and my father-in-law Ed is like, hey, let's go see a movie. And so we all went to see Gladiator 2 and one other movie that I'll probably be reading about momentarily.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was not going to see it. And then Denzel was like, okay, all right. Okay. And so then I decided to go see it.
All right, Pat, your turn. Go ahead and pick one.
Well, I'll take one from November 9th, and Beyonce becomes the most nominated artist in Grammy history. 99 in total. Whoa, 99. Can you believe
That's
it?
A lot.
After receiving 11 nominations for 2025, including Record, Song, and Country Song of the Year. Wow. Beyonce.
She got 99 nominations, but you know what? Never mind.
Yeah. But she didn't get this one. Delvin.
Yeah, so about that second movie, November 22nd, Wicked Part 1, a film musical opens starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, based on the stage musical and L. Frank Baum's novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. That was the second movie that I saw. I saw it the day after Thanksgiving, again with the in-laws. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Like I had zero expectations, came in, wonderful, loved it.
Have you ever gone to see any like plays, musicals, or anything like that?
Not recently, but like it's one of those where like
would you go see it in actual theater?
I didn't go see it like the actual theater, but now I'm more inclined to go see it because like I, again, zero expectations. Like I wouldn't have gone, but like, you know, like family and things like, yeah, I'll go see it. And I watched it and was just absolutely captivated by it. It was wonderful. I loved it.
But he won't see Raiders of the Lost Ark.
This is bullshit. I call it bullshit. I was like, it's like there's some sort of I don't know what's called when the diagrams, one goes up and one goes down. But like as time goes by, it's time spent in movie theaters, Delvin's is going up, mine's going down, and I don't like it.
That is weird, isn't it?
All right, well, I get to choose one, and I'm going to choose on November 21st, MLB Los Angeles Dodgers Shohei Ohtani is chosen as a winner for National League MVP. There's an AL winner as well, but not worth mentioning here, folks. It's also, I'm going to choose two since I'm the host because I also finished runner-up on November 12th to actor and director John Krasinski for People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive. I think it was rigged.
Dude, I was rooting for you. Like I even like rigged the voting. I cheated like a couple of times, like voted like 5-6 times.
There's something off, man.
Yeah, I know it was rigged because it was like, they're like, sexiest man alive is John Weasel Skull Krasinski. And I was like, wait, what?
I was hoping you were going to ask me to run with you because then we could be two sexy guys.
I don't know if there's room on the cover for both of us there. All right. Well, let's go around the horn. We'll start with Jared. We'll go ahead and start with you and take us through the top 3 movies for November of 2024.
Well, we mentioned it. Coming in at number 3 is Gladiator 2, which did $104 million.
Not bad, but it didn't beat number 2. What was that, Pat?
Well, let me tell you what number 2 and who they work for. It is Moana, number 2, and that made $190 million.
Ooh, all right. But that still can't beat the number 1. Delvin's already talked about it. Let's go ahead and do the reveal. Delvin.
The number 1 movie for November 2024, making $242,923,320 was Wicked, Part 1.
Making that Wicked cash.
Man.
All right. So it left us hanging in a sequel, though, as I understand. So there's a sequel coming.
Yes. I guess it stopped about halfway through the movie and or through the play. And I could tell you how it ends, but you should definitely go see it.
I know how it ends. I saw The Wizard of Oz. I know what's going to happen to this lady.
How's going to come right down on her?
Bam!
I'm just saying, I was, by the end of that movie, I was rooting for Elphaba. She was absolutely misunderstood in every way.
Oh, Carrie's daughters both really love Wicked, love the play, love the books and everything. And her daughter, Olivia, knows all the songs. So I feel like I've got a good insight on what's going on here. All right. Well, let's go to the top 3 songs according to Billboard at this time. I'm going to give the first one to Jared. Jared, what was number 3? And sing it for me. What is this, a dead ringer?
I'm guessing that's how it goes. Billie Eilish comes in at number 3, although I can't fathom why, but I'm a grumpy old man and I don't give a She comes in at number 3 with Birds of a Feather. Good luck editing that, Pat.
All right. Well, speaking of Pat, go ahead and take us to number 2. What was the number 2 song? And do you know it?
I'm glad I got number 2 because I don't know the song. I'm an old man. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I'm an old man. Delvin knows it, but
Delvin might help us out.
Let me. I want to say the name though. Let me say the name. The name sounds cool. It's called A Bar Song, Tipsy by Shabuzi.
Everybody in the club get tipsy.
So
is that what it is?
No, it's not. But that song was a credit for this song because the hook was used in the chorus.
Oh, there's a sample kind of deal going on?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
it was closer than I thought.
Yeah, I got introduced to the song probably a couple of months before. One of my best buddies here, Jeremy, was like, man, I really like this song, called Tipsy. And I listened to it and I was like, yeah, that hook's from a 2000 rap song. And he laughed. I'm like, no, dude, I'm serious. And even if by the time, sure enough, I listened to it at the end, there was a song credit for Jaquan, who came up with the original hook or the original song called Tipsy. But yeah,
okay.
This song I know. I've done it in karaoke already. It's a fun song.
Wow. There you go. See, you should do some Wicked songs.
Woof.
Do Gravity, Delvin.
You have to really know how to sing for that. Defying Gravity is an amazing song, though. At the end, I'm like, seriously, I'm about to tear up. I was like, it's dusty in here. I've been crying over the play. But yeah, fantastic song. And so is Tipsy by Shabuzi.
Well, we all know the best bar song, though, is Making Your Way in the World Today Takes Everything You Got.
Somewhere Ryan is nodding. Yeah. Good.
Pour one out for you, Ryan. Delvin, take us to number 1.
Sure. Number 1, I do not know this song at all. Maybe someone else does. Is Love Somebody by Morgan Wallen.
Go ahead. You better love somebody. It's late. Love somebody. Again, we're all old men. I wonder if they remade it. I don't know. I'll Google it.
I don't know. I kind of want to, after this, Google these things now, just so I know. All right. That brings us to the end of this part in the show. Now let's get to the feedback part of the show called Crusaders Comments. And we are thrilled to kick off these comments with special shout outs to our Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks that have joined our crusade. They enjoy priority seating as podcast guests, early access to special Longbox episodes, voting to help determine show content, backstage access to live recordings, and so much more. So these are the folks reaping the benefits and giving some much appreciated support to the show. We'll just go clockwise and Delvin can kick it off.
Alan W. Wright.
And Helica Wolf.
Albryn Elvis.
Bill Beer.
Billy D.
Bradley Dello.
Braxton Underwood.
Carrie.
Clinton Robeson.
Captain Entropy.
Clark Westfield.
Dave the Battle Wagon Collins.
Eric Hodges.
Eric Porter.
Ezra Gallo.
Gary V.
Gene Hendricks.
George Meal.
Gerald Green.
Heinz K.
Jason King.
Jason Lady.
Jeff Poyer.
Jeremy L.
Jim Jarman. I think Jim Jarman gets tipsy too.
Jim Beal.
Joe Man Conan.
Joe Thomas, bringer of beats.
John Watson.
Josh Strickland.
Candace Ward.
Captivating Kathy Bright, our MVP.
Matt and Lissy Paso.
Mark Ross.
Maxwell Traver.
Michael Minton.
Miranda W.
P.D. Devons.
Paul Hicks.
Rick from Jeff and Rick Present.
Ronald Easterday.
Rob Morgan.
Samantha Maney.
Sean Urbanski.
Spidey 67.
Spreadsheet.
Steve Cronin.
Tim Price.
Tony Pennington.
And our 50th
for 50 episodes
is Toronto Cop. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. It's not a 50 Cent reference. I'm out. I ran dry. Something Curtis Jackson.
All right. Well, if we missed anyone on our list, we do apologize. Please keep in mind that we record these episodes well in advance of release. So if you're a recent addition, we should be adding you soon. Still, no worries. Just let us know that we missed you by sending an email to contact@longboxcrusade.com, and we will beat Pat for forgetting it and get it straightened out. As a reminder, you can become a Crusaders Club member by heading over to patreon.com/longboxcrusade. For as little as $1 a month, you'll get access to the amazing world of the Crusaders Club. Come and check it out. And if you don't have any extra scratch lying around but still want to help us out here at LBC headquarters, please take a moment to write a review on whatever platform you're listening on, or give us a YouTube subscription and be sure to join us there for our live episodes.
Unfortunately, we don't have any comments for previous Longbox Crusade episodes, but because this is the 50th episode, I just want to give a big thank you to everybody for getting us this far. We're 8 years in, going on 9 for the whole Longbox Crusade network, and it all started with just one episode 49 episodes ago for this one. So thanks, Jarrett, Jason, and Delvin for joining me on this crusade, and everybody listening. So we've had some really fun times and lots of great friendships along the way, and I'm sure there will be plenty more to come.
Come a long way since, was it Spidey Super Stories #1?
Yeah, Spidey's good one, yeah. Spidey, good one.
Where it all began.
All right. Well, you can call us and leave a voicemail that we will play on the show right here. You can leave us a message at 707-532-5269. That's 707-532-LBOX. All right. Thanks, Billie Eilish. Appreciate it. Special guest, Billie Eilish, everybody. All right. Thanks to everyone for the likes, shares, follows, and comments. We appreciate your friendship and help in spreading the word about this podcast. And that's the show. Be sure to check out the website, longboxcrusade.com, where posts will be made for journaling this crusade.
Well, once again, we want to thank everyone for listening to this very special episode of JSApril 2025. Please check out all of the other podcasts and blog sites covering the JSApril 2025 by following the event on social media using the hashtag JSApril. Jason, can I get a hashtag?
Hashtag JSApril.
Delvin, can I get a hashtag?
Well, Pat, I'm glad you asked. Hashtag JSApril.
Billy Irish, can I get a hashtag?
Oh, man, this is great, man. We're nailing these special guests.
And finishing it up, Jared, can I get a hashtag?
Hashtag JSApril.
Thank you. And once again, that hashtag is JSApril, or go to the website at www.fireandwaterpodcast.com/JSApril. Back to you, Jason.
All right. Thanks, Pat. And I want to thank you, Pat, Jared, Delvin. Thanks, all three of you, for joining me on this episode. And before we go, where can the listeners find you on the internet, Jared?
I am taking all of Jason's mail, by the way. So if you want to contact Jason, send it to me because it's off the grid. Hit me up at Yard Sale Artist on X, Facebook, or Instagram. Del?
You can find me on Threads, Delvin Ray, Instagram, Delvin Ray, Blue Sky, DEERAY 1977. Patrick.
Well, Delvin, I'm glad you asked. You can find me on the X at Christatos01. Back to you, Jason.
All right. Thanks for listening, and we hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Longbox Crusade. Got a comment or question? Email us at contact@longboxcrusade.com or leave a comment on the Longbox Crusade Facebook, Instagram, or X page, all at Longbox Crusade. Until next time, take care, and please join us for the next episode as we continue on the crusade to read them all.
The intro music is provided by musical genius Joe November.
Check out his SoundCloud at JOSEFLIN99. You won't regret it.
All songs, song clips, and characters discussed are copyright of their respective copyright holders, and no infringement is intended. We are just fans that like to share our love of comics.
Outtakes.
I watched Goonies today.
Did you?
It reminded me of the old thing. The old thing.
The old song?
Yeah.
Good enough for me.
Do they know it's JSApril at all?
We checked the date.
It came out in 2000.
We got it right. And we're ready for some fun. Do you know it's JSApril at all? We'll tell you all about the Silver Red.